Very happy Sunday to you. What a day. Sunday, what a day. Monday, no, Sunday. Sunday is the day. Everything has got a vibe. And days have a vibe. And Sunday, I think, is my favourite day. Because of the vibe that you get on a Sunday. It's relaxed, it's chilled. It says, hey, just chill. Huh? I like that. I like that a lot. And that's why I think it's my favourite day to do these type of videos. Slightly longer format. Just say what's on your mind a little bit. To share a little bit. Almost like a Sunday sermon, some may say. So let's do it. Let's do it. What we're going to talk about. Let's talk about one of the main subjects that we've been talking about, whether we realise it or not, throughout life. And it's about people. Imagine how different things would be without people. Yeah, I heard so many people's reaction there. You were like, bliss, Sunday bliss. But no, here's my point. Listen, this on a serious note. Out of all the people that you've met in your entire lifetime, how many would you say are decent people? Think about that. And what do I mean by decent? I'd hope that that's a pretty obvious thing. If I was to categorize it, I would probably say something like they don't go out to intentionally hurt other people. That's a decent person to me. Why? Because if we're being fair, which let's be fair as decent people, if we're being fair, we would say that all humans are capable of doing things, making mistakes, doing this, doing that, blah, blah, frickin' blah. But there is quite a difference between that and people who intentionally go out to harm others, get one up on others, all the rest of it. You agree? If you agree on that, then how many people would you say in your lifetime you've met that you would class as a decent person? Now, I know that I'm very conscious about this. You've got to believe me on this, guys. I'm very conscious about the idea of not coming across too negatively, especially in regards to the ripple effect. Because as much as anything else, what I want to talk about is the management of it and actually being able to navigate around these truths, which is what I'll call it. I think it's a truth, and here's what I think it is. There are very few decent people. Very few. You would be incredibly lucky. Nobody can count it on two hands, what I just said there, in regards to the amount of decent people that you know or have ever met. You won't be able to count it on two hands. If you can, you've been tricked. It's as simple as that. Most people, if they're lucky, will be able to count it on one hand, right? It blows the 80-20 rule out for me as well. I like to go by that on a lot of things because I think it simplifies it and it actually does make a lot of sense. But even in this equation, 80-20, 80-20, it's too high. The 80 isn't high enough, is what I mean. I'd probably say there's less than 1% of decent people left. When I think about it, out of all the people that I've met, there's literally just a few that spring to mind. And what happens typically is even sort of first impressions or even some development from that in regards to whatever relationship we're talking about here. A lot of what happens moving forward is when you actually really get to know somebody. A lot of what you believed initially goes out the window. And we judge other people based on our own standards. So there's a lot of that going on. So if you are genuinely a decent person who doesn't go out to intentionally hurt other people, if you're judging people based on that, then you're going to have a harder time. Yeah, because most people are going to let you down. And most people do let you down. So many people have got corrupt hearts. So many people are just after the quick fix, whatever that may be, whether it be related to the sexy time or the money. They just want that quick fix, and they don't care who they hurt on that journey of getting those quick fixes. They don't give a shizer. They don't care. Most people don't care. They don't think about the slightly longer term picture. Just after those short fixes, whatever it is that gives it to them at that moment, instant gratification is all they're concerned about. As long as they get that need filled at that particular time. And as I said, I'm still very conscious about not coming across negative, but I'm also just going to throw it out there in regards to truth often being something that hurts. And in regards to sort of wrapping this concept up in regards to there being very few decent people who are capable of making mistakes but don't intentionally go out to harm other people. With them being so few and far between, the obvious thing is, you've got to stay close in whatever context you can. You know, if they're the sort of morals and standards that you abide to, and those sort of people can still be in your life, then those are the sort of people you've got to keep close, right? But generally, most people are going to let you down. Most people are going to be led by their ego. And here's why I make this statement. I've met a lot of people. And the truth is that most people are just a-holes. Yeah, they just are. And I don't think enough people are truthful about stuff like this. I just don't think they are. I don't think they're truthful about it. And it's either because they want to stay in naivety, in a state of naivety, like the Matrix keeps us, to allow us to survive in this system. And that's why I think people mask it and just layer it and layer the truth because they don't want to see it. For me, I'm embracing the idea of the understanding of it, and the thing that if you're in a similar journey or on a similar journey, the trick to all of this is to make sure that you can navigate it and allow knowledge and awareness to empower rather than bring you down, because ultimately, along with these bastards that I'm talking about, it will grind you down. And I'm very conscious about that because every day it can feel, with this observation, this awareness, it can feel like a heavy weight on your shoulders. It can feel like, getting up in the morning. It feels, some will call it depression. It will feel heavy on you to feel like you're surrounded, but there are things that can counteract. There's things like nature that you can depend on. That's a word, isn't it? Depend on. If there are those few people that stay close. But then that high percentage of a-holes that we're talking about here, the empowerment comes with awareness. Yeah. Don't, have your boundaries. Yeah. Be aware that most people's hearts are taken. Their egos are driving them. Their quick need for gratification is deciding their actions and decisions. Just be aware of that, which leads to a whole lot less disappointment. It's just about awareness. Happy Sunday to you. You have a great day. Ta-ta.